My mother-in-law threw me out while I was pregnant. I never thought I'd be sleeping on a friend's couch, 7 months pregnant, crying into a pillow, wondering if my husband still saw me as his wife or just a burden. But that's what happened, because his mother decided I didn't belong in her house, and he let her. It all started on a Sunday afternoon, 3 years ago. I was 5 months pregnant when it happened, but the tension had been building long before that. David and I met in church. He was the charming choir leader with a crooked smile and calm spirit. I was the quiet usher who always stayed behind to clean. Somehow we noticed each other, and a spark ignited between two people from very different worlds. He came from a wealthy conservative family. I didn't. My father sold spare parts and my mom ran a small food stall. I never pretended to be anything other than what I was. But to his mother, that was exactly the problem. The first time I met her, she didn't even try to hide her disgust. "You went and found a roadside girl to marry?" she asked David in front of me. "A woman who brings nothing but stress?" David chuckled, trying to brush it off. I laughed nervously, but deep inside, I knew she meant it, and she would never let me forget it. Still, we got married. A small wedding. I wore a borrowed dress. My father wept as he walked me down the aisle, proud despite knowing that I was walking into a family that never really accepted me. After our wedding, David and I moved into a rented apartment. Life wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Until he lost his job just 6 months in. Suddenly, everything changed. Rent became a struggle, food was rationed, and I found out I was pregnant. I was terrified. When we told his mother, she sighed loudly. "You can't even afford diapers and you're bringing a child into this world." Then she offered us a temporary solution. "Come stay with me," she said, "at least until David finds work." I hesitated. Everything in my body screamed, "Don't do it," but we had no choice. We moved in the next week. From the moment we entered her house, I was treated like an intruder. She gave us one room, small, cramped, and barely ventilated. Every step I took outside that room felt like I was walking on eggshells. She had rules. Ridiculous ones. Don't touch the TV, don't use the shower after 8 p.m, don't leave dishes in the rack overnight, don't breathe too loud. Okay, maybe not the last one, but it felt like that. She criticized my every move. "You're always sleeping. That's why you're so fat. You eat like a pig. Do you think babies need that much food? Lazy women like you turn their husbands into weak men." And the worst part? David said nothing. He would just sigh and walk away. I kept telling myself, he's stressed, he's trying to get a job, he's overwhelmed. But I was overwhelmed too, and carrying his child. The breaking point came one morning when I accidentally spilled a little water in the kitchen. She stormed in like I had burned the house down. "You this thing, you're destroying my home," she screamed. "You've bewitched my son." I froze. My back ached, my ankles were swollen. I hadn't slept properly in days. "Mummy, please, I didn't mean to," I whispered. She snapped. "Get out of my house." I blinked. "What?" I said, "Get out. Take your bastard baby and go to wherever you came from." My hands shook. "Mummy, please, I'm carrying your grandchild." She laughed cruelly. "Is it even my son's child? People like you don't just get pregnant anyhow. Go and meet whoever gave you that belly." That's when David walked in. He saw my tears. He saw my suitcase already thrown into the corridor, my clothes scattered on the floor like trash. "David," I said, "say something." He looked at me, then looked at her. "Mum, just calm down." "Calm down," I snapped. "That's all you ever say." "She's upset. And I'm your wife." But he didn't raise his voice. He didn't defend me. He just muttered, "Maybe it's best if you give her space." I stood there, belly round, heart shattered, while the man who promised to protect me chose silence. Ada, my friend, came to pick me up. She held my hand the whole ride. I cried the entire night on her couch. My baby kicked for the first time while I wept, and I whispered to my stomach, "Don't worry, I'll never let anyone hurt you." David didn't check in for 2 days. Then he sent Tent a text, "Just stay there for now. I'll talk to her." I didn't respond. I couldn't. How do you answer someone who watched you get thrown out and just let it happen? Days turned into weeks, weeks into a month. I moved in with my cousin and began piecing my life together. I worked 2 shifts at the clinic. I bought baby things one item at a time. No baby shower, no husband, no apologies. At 7 months, he showed up at the hospital. "I've missed you," he said. I stared at him. Did you miss the part where your mother dragged me out like garbage? He sighed. I didn't know what to do. You could have stood by me, I whispered. You could have told her no. I didn't want to lose both of you, he replied, but you did. The day I gave birth, I didn't call him. I held my baby girl, cried with joy, and promised her a life full of love, even if it meant doing it alone. He came later, held her, cried, told me he wanted to try again. I let him visit, but I kept my heart guarded, because love isn't just about being there for the good times. It's about fighting for each other when no one else will. One night when she was 3 months old, he called. She's sick, he said, referring to his mother. She wants to see the baby. I didn't answer. He texted, please. I still didn't answer. She never apologized. Never even asked if I made it through the storm she pushed me into. 2 years passed. I built a small baby clothing business online. It grew faster than I expected. Single mothers started messaging me, thanking me for sharing my story. Then one day I got the news. She had died. And 3 days later, David showed up at my shop. He stood at the door holding flowers. She's gone, he said, and I realized I was the one who lost everything. You, our daughter, a home. I looked at him, not with anger, but clarity. You didn't lose me, David. You gave me away. He knelt down. I want to come back. I want to be the father she deserves. I pointed to the back room where our daughter was giggling with her toys. She already has peace. Don't bring anything less than that into her world. He nodded, tears rolling down his cheeks. And that was the beginning of something new. Not a fairy tale, but a slow, careful rebuild on my terms. For her and for me.